Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to study on the history of microbiology. We know microbiology, it is the study of microorganisms, and microorganisms are those organisms which are hard to see with our naked eye, so we need a microscope to see it. And microorganisms include organisms like virus, bacteria, algae, fungi, and protozoans. And in history of microbiology, we are dealing with how this microbiology as a branch of science has evolved. So here we are pointing out the important contributions of so many scientists, especially microbiologists, that lead to the separation of this microbiology as a branch of science. And the history of microbiology, it recorded from 15th century to present. So history of microbiology can be broadly or can be divided into two separate periods, like first golden age of classical microbiology, which extends from a period of 1854 to 1914, and second golden age of microbiology, it extends from a period of 1943 to 1970. After that also there are a lot of contributions in the field of microbiology, but we are not able to compile them all. So here we are dealing up to 1980, and we are not dealing with all the works of all the scientists, because it is very hard to complete in one class or two. So we are just focusing on some of the major findings by major scientists. The history of microbiology actually begins with the invention of microscope. Before that, so many scientists proposed theory about the disease-causing agents, and pioneer among them were Roger Bacon of the 13th century and Girolamo Francastro of the 15th century. He proposed the theory that invisible living seeds are responsible for causing diseases. And Francesco Redi, he performed experiments to disprove the theory of spontaneous generation. And in 1665, Robert Hooke invented microscope, and he was actually a botanist, and he focused his work mainly on plant material. So he failed to observe living microorganisms using his microscope. And later, Anton van Leeuwenhoek, he was a student of natural history, and he was he has a hobby of making microscope, and he made 250 different types of microscope. And later he became a cloth merchant, and in 1674 he led to the discovery of microorganisms with the help of the glass lenses he had made, and he called these microorganisms as animalcules, meaning small animals. And he also helped the local people to view the microbial samples from dirty water samples, saliva, blood, and other samples. And then he also reported the descriptions about the microorganisms that he viewed through the lens to the natural history. And so he was the first person to report the description of microorganisms, and he made a microscope with magnifications up to 270x. And but he was very crooked, cunning man, and he never want to pass the information regarding the lens systems to the public people. So the field of microbiology stagnated till his death in 1723. And later, after his death, people were able to assess his instruments and carry out further researches based on that. Then Edward Jenner, he was a pioneer in immunizing people against smallpox diseases, and he was successful in using cowpox virus, which he collected from this cow, to immunize people suffering from smallpox disease. And thus he helped in 1774 he discovered vaccination against smallpox, and so the complete eradication of that disease can be possible, is made possible by this Edward Jenner vaccination. Louis Pasteur was one of the most eminent microbiologists, and he was a professor of chemistry in the University of France. And in 1854, he proved the theory that life came only from pre-existing life. And through his famous swan-necked flask experiment, he disproved the theory of spontaneous generation and the abiogenesis. And he noticed that the bacterial spores were present in the atmosphere, and they are responsible for the decay and decomposition of the organic matter. And brewery industries were wide during his times, and he noted that most of the wine get sour because of the presence of microorganisms. So he introduced heating as a sterilization procedure, so that the microbial load in the alcohol get reduced, and it will increase the keeping quality of the wine. So that sterilization process later came to be known as pasteurization. Then he also showed the role of microorganisms in fermentation process, especially in alcoholic fermentation, where the carbohydrate is converted to alcohol. And he found out the causative organisms for the pebrine disease in silkworm. And he collected anthrax bacteria and prepared attenuated cultures and used them as vaccines. And he also invented vaccines against rabies or hydrophobia. For that, he had injected rabbits with rabies virus, and when the rabbits got died, he collected the spinal cord and prepared extracts from the spinal cord, and then he injected these spinal cord extracts to mad dog bitten patients, and the patients recovered from the rabies. Thus he invented vaccines for rabies. And in 1867 he put forward the germ theory of disease, which proposed that microorganisms are responsible for many of infectious disease. But Pasteur could not give much definite proof for the hypothesis of germ theory. Emil Christian Hansen, he studied about the industrial fermentation, and he developed pure cultures of yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, the baker's yeast, which was used in the beer industry, and thus it revolutionized the beer industry, and a large commercial production of the beer has been possible because of his work. And he also developed pure culture of vinegar bacteria, which is used in the production of acetic acid, and so commercial production of acetic acid also get revolutionized because of the work of Emil Christian Hansen. And Joseph Lister, he is an English surgeon, and he prepared disinfectants with the carbolic acid, and he noted that this disinfectants would kill this bacteria, and he used this disinfectants to disinfect the wounds, and he noticed that the wounds get healed very rapidly when disinfectants were applied. And thus he established the principle of present day aseptic techniques that we are using in the medical field. And Hans Christian Gram, he introduced the gram staining procedure. It helps to differentiate gram positive and gram negative bacteria. This gram staining is also having clinical significance because gram positive bacteria is highly sensitive to antibiotics, whereas gram negative bacteria, they are resistant to antibiotics. So through this staining technique, we can determine whether an antibiotic is effective towards a particular bacteria or not. Robert Koch. Robert Koch demonstrated that bacterial cultures, when injected to animals, can cause disease, and he identified pure cultures of bacteria. That pure culture techniques that he identified helped in the proper identification of a particular microorganism responsible for causing a specific disease. And he found out causative agents for several diseases like anthrax. The causative organism was found to be Bacillus anthracis. Vibrio cholerae is causing cholera, and Mycobacterium tuberculosis is responsible for causing tuberculosis. So these were some of the major contributions of Robert Koch. And the Robert Koch had made 4 Koch postulate, which helped the later scientists to concentrate more on the disease causing agents. And these Koch postulates were as follows. Specific causative agent must be found in every case of disease. That means every disease is caused by an infectious disease causing agent. The disease-causing organism must be isolated in pure culture. From a patient, the infectious agent that is responsible for causing the disease can be isolated in pure culture from the patient. That is the second postulate. And third one is that inoculation of a sample of culture in a healthy susceptible animal must produce the same disease. If we are inoculating this infectious agent that is collected from a patient to a healthy individual, the healthy individual will also get the same disease. That is his third postulate. And fourth one is that disease causing agent must be recovered from the inoculated animal. That means from the healthy person also we can able to recover the inoculated or the infectious agent. So these were the Koch postulate. And so he was a well-known scientist working so many on different disease-causing microorganisms, and he discovered so many pathogens associated with various diseases. As a owner of the discoveries and contributions to the field of microbiology made by Robert Koch and Louis Pasteur, both of them are considered as founders of science of microbiology. So we have already studied the contribution of Robert Koch and Louis Pasteur. So because of their contribution, they are known as the founders of science of microbiology. Actually, Louis Pasteur has contributed a lot to the field of microbiology. He had invented vaccination against rabies, and he introduced sterilization technique, which is later came to known as pasteurization technique, and he disproved abiogenesis and spontaneous generation theory. So because of a lot of contributions made by Pasteur, he was known as the father of microbiology. He is known as the father of microbiology. So we have seen lot of developments in the field of microbiology. Now we are focusing on the advancements in the field of immunology that led to the developments in the field of microbiology. Among them, Emil von Behring and Kitasato, two scientists, they discovered antibiotics. Elie Metchnikoff, he is a Russian scientist. He discovered phagocytosis. He found out that white blood cells, leukocytes, they are responsible for eating bacteria by a process called phagocytosis, and he formulated the theory that phagocytosis forms the first and most important line of defense against infections in our body. And Almouth Wright, he discovered opsonization of antigen, and meanwhile Bejernik, he discovered tobacco mosaic virus in tobacco plants in 1898. And here most of the scientists were Nobel laureates. The Behring, Kitasato, Metchnikoff, Wright, they were all Nobel laureates, and Behring, I think he is the first one who is receiving the Nobel Prize in 1901. Paul Ehrlich, a German scientist, he introduced the chemotherapy technique for the treatment of infectious disease, and he was successful in developing arsenic containing compound for destroying the syphilis causing bacteria in human body. And this arsenic containing compound is in the first chemotherapeutic substance that is scientifically discovered and evaluated. Thus, Paul Ehrlich is the scientist who introduced chemotherapy for the treatment of infectious disease. Vinod Gradsky, he is a scientist who demonstrated the role of microorganisms in biogeochemical cycle, especially in the nitrogen cycle. He isolated nitrogen fixing and nitrifying bacteria from the soil and studied the role of these bacteria in fixing nitrogen and then recycling nitrogenous compound to the atmosphere. And Charles Leveren, he discovered that the protozoan Plasmodium is responsible for causing malaria. And Ronald Ross, who was working in Kolkata, discovered that female Anopheles mosquito is the vector that is behind the spreading of malarial parasite among humans. First golden age of classical microbiology. It is a period from 1854 to 1914. The period between the later part of the 19th century and the early part of the 20th century, it has been contributed by several microbiologists to the development of developments in the field of microbiology. So that period is called the first golden age of classical microbiology. second golden age of microbiology, that is period between 1943 to 1970, where several discoveries at a molecular level were made using bacteria as the experimental model. So we have already discussed the first golden age of classical microbiology, and now we are going to discuss about the second golden age of microbiology, that is the period between 1943 to 1970. And the peculiarity of this period is that here the microbiologists were dealing with bacteria as the experimental model, and this period has witnessed the evolvement of biotechnology as a new branch of science. Lurie and Delbruck in 1943, they demonstrated that the external environmental conditions like UV and nuclear radiations, they can cause mutations and variations both in phenotype and genotype of an individual. And Alexander Fleming in 1945, he discovered the first antibiotics that is known as penicillin, from Penicillium notatum, a fungus. And we know that penicillin is still used as the most common antibiotic for the treatment of many of the bacterial disease. And Waxman, he discovered another powerful antibiotics like actinomycin and streptomycin. Then Lederberg and Tatum in 1946, they demonstrated the genetic recombination in bacteria. Lederberg and Cinder in 1952 demonstrated transduction in Salmonella. Transduction is the bacteriophage infection on a bacteria. So it was demonstrated by Lederberg and Cinder in 1952, and the full molecular structure of the tobacco mosaic virus, it was being discovered by Rosalind Franklin in 1955. Jacob and Monod in 1961 discovered the operon system of gene regulation in prokaryote, that lac operon, tryptopron, all you have studied in the degree classes. And Temin and Baltimore in 1970 discovered the reverse transcribing virus. Reverse transcribing virus means the RNA virus that is responsible for having this reverse transcriptase enzyme, and they are conducting the process called reverse transcription, from which this RNA is being transcribed to DNA. So that was being demonstrated in the reverse transcribing virus by Temin and Baltimore in 1970. So before we conclude, we must note the contribution of an Indian scientist, that is Anand Mohan Chakrabarty. He is an Indian-born American microbiologist, and you all heard of his name. He has discovered the first GMO, that is Pseudomonas putida, otherwise known as superbug, and it is an oil-eating bacteria, and it is been produced as a genetically modified organism, and he got patent for that in 1980. And his contribution has paved way for many other patents on GMOs and other life forms. Before his patent, he is getting patent for this superbug. Patents were not being issued for living organisms. And this Anand Mohan Chakrabarty, what he did was that oil-eating bacteria were there, but they were not capable of eating lot of oils, and when multiple strains of bacteria were introduced, they will compete each other and none will survive. So this Anand Mohan Chakrabarty, he isolated genes from genes that is belonging to plasmid from the 4 different strains of bacteria, and he then transferred it into a one common plasmid and produced this genetically modified Pseudomonas putida species. And it is consuming oil faster than other oil-eating microbe. That was the peculiarity, and for that his Pseudomonas putida got patent in 1980. So these are all about the history of microbiology. But history of microbiology, as we know, it never ends. It is still being continuing, but we are just been citing some of the important works. And I think this portion is clear for all of you, and I have made a detailed description of everything in this slide so as to make notes preparation easy for you people. So I think if you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. And I don't think that much more elaborative study on the history of microbiology is not needed in the present situation. So Please try to write down all these things that I have given in your notebook. Thank you.